You cannot become what you want to in life if you're too attached to who you have already been. Let me repeat that. You cannot become what you want to in life because you are too attached to what you have been. Now, it's time to break free of that comfort zone. And this isn't exactly going to be fun. But hopefully in today's episode, you guys learn from me as far as how to do that and how to really make that identity shift that's going to help you guys out. Because at the end of the day, I always say it like this: your life, everything that's about you right now, your current reality, it's right here. But that dream life that you're trying to achieve in your life, it's right here. And there's that line, right? And that line is your comfort zone. And at the end of the day, it's not going to be fun, it's not going to be easy, but it's necessary. Because typically to get across on this side, you're going to have to build some more strength. You're going to have to learn some things about yourself that you probably don't know. You're also going to have to go through some things and acquire some new skills or knowledge so that way you have it on the other side of you having that dream life, of you having success. Whether it's trying to lose body fat, whether it's trying to start your own business, whether it's trying to make a career jump, or whatever the case may be, whatever your goals are, it's just like, why do you not have them right now in your life? Well, hey, there's something right over here that right now, currently, you do not have. Maybe it's the skills, maybe it's the knowledge, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's the income, right? You just don't have it. And there's going to be this process of getting to there, but there's always that line in the middle, the comfort zone. And that's typically where, the men and the boys split the two, right? There's a big difference. And hopefully, fingers crossed, you guys learn how to continue to march on and have success. So let me share with you guys something about how powerful your mindset is before we go into this identity shift, okay? I really want you to think about your mindset as a garden. And let's say wherever you're trying to plant a garden at, whether it's whatever, right? Like just flowers or, even fruits or vegetables, whatever the case may be. You're planting a garden. And it can be as big and beautiful as you want it to become, but regardless, there will always be weeds. Okay? Let that sink in. There will always be weeds. And those weeds are the self-limiting beliefs. Those weeds are the bad wolves, right? Those weeds are the ones that's constantly feeding you the lies, the negativity, the one saying you can't, the one saying you're not going to make it, to stop, just to go back to your old comfort zone and to just call it a, day and throw in the white towel. Guys, if you continue to just have, a garden out there filled with weeds, eventually that garden's going to become, just filled with nothing but weeds, right? There's not going to be any flowers or fruits or vegetables, whatever it is that you're planting in that garden. It's not going to, flourish. It's not going to be as big and abundant and as magnificent as you might want it to be because it's filled with a bunch of trash. It's filled with a bunch of weeds, garbage, And at the end of the day, anytime, and I'm sure you guys have done this once or twice or maybe multiple times in your life, especially if you do any kind of lawn care outside your home, you got to pull out those weeds. And you can, you might get some weeds in there that's tough, right? Like you yanking on it with both hands and that thing's stuck, It's down to the roots. And those weeds might be the same self-limiting beliefs that's holding you back, where it's tough. It's the lies, it's the negativity, everything like that. And it's going to require both hands. It's going to require some muscle to yank and pull them out. You know what always helps though? If you get maybe somebody else helping you out along the journey, or you use some tools. So obviously you can use a shovel, dig a little bit deeper underneath the soil, underneath the ground, right? Find out where the roots are at and really just get some leverage on it and rip it out. Hey, that definitely helps, Or obviously if there's somebody out there that can help you out, like let's say this garden is filled with multiple weeds, hey, now it's not just you, pulling out all the weeds, but now it's somebody else that's helping you out. Think about that like, your friends, your support system. Right? And so the reason why you want close friends that are motivating you, encouraging you, is because you want to make sure they're helping you pull out those weeds. So when you feel like giving up and you feel like throwing in the white towel and quitting and going back to your old ways, or when you feel like just nothing but negativity, those good friends are going to hype you up. Those good friends are going to motivate you. And this is why we put such an emphasis on our community groups at Heartletics, because we know for a fact, like, there's no weeds in there. Everybody's there to support each other. Everybody's there to help each other grow, plain and simple. And so you got to understand, right? Like, your mind with all these self-limiting beliefs and all these, dreams of, your goals, right? It's the garden, it's the weeds. So you have to learn how to pull the weeds, plant the seeds. I'll repeat that. Pull the weeds and plant the seeds. And this takes time, right? This is another episode that I made called the winner's mindset. Where basically at the end of the day, when you are filled with, these negative thoughts and whatever the case may be, you got to learn how to shut up that inner demon. You got to learn how to just punch it in the face and say, that's false. I always say it like this. You might not be able to control your first thoughts, but you can always control your second, your third, your fourth, your fifth thought. So it's like, if you get this thought going on in your head saying, oh, you're not good enough, well, immediately replace that and think about a time where you were good enough. Think about a time where you had success at doing something. Replace that first thought that came to your mind with a positive thought. Pull the weeds, plant the seeds, And once you get really good at, continuing to do that over and over again, it becomes so much easier to listen to your heart and listen to that positive voice that's coming from within saying like, hey, keep on going. Keep on going. It's just the weeds, right? Pull them out. And they don't get so tough anymore to pull out, And especially, like I said, if you have some other people there to help you, support you, you can clean up that garden pretty fast, So how do you change your identity? We kind of talked a little bit about, breaking these self-limiting beliefs. We talked a little bit, obviously, like, fixating on what are the thoughts that you're feeding yourself, constantly thinking, and what are the words that you're saying to yourself, especially when you're getting these negative thoughts, How are you replacing those negative thoughts with more positive thoughts? How do you change your identity now? Well, you got to look at it like the overall view, and I got this from James Clear, Atomic Habits. I absolutely love that book. I'm obsessed with it. I constantly reread it over and over again because I can always learn something new. And, in there, he has this diagram about, this circle with, two other circles within. And basically how that is presented is, the outside circle is your outcomes. That inner circle is the process. But the very roots, the middle circle, is the identity. It's your identity. So typically how it works is this, is like somebody can go through certain things in their life and do certain things in their life. Maybe it's just like, let's use, for example, a famous sports player. Let's say Michael Jordan, In the very beginning, maybe Michael Jordan wasn't good at playing basketball, right? He wasn't, But he went through this process of, let's just say, going through the challenges of practicing and playing in the different games, trying to get better, and then goes through the process of, okay, hey, let's work on this. Let's develop this skill. Let's develop this craft more and more and more. But his identity eventually shifted to where he's like, hey, you know what? I don't want to be an average person. I want to be the best basketball player in the world and really take ownership of that. And you probably know some people in your life, right? I definitely do, where they don't just go 1 foot in. They go all in, plain and simple. They dive in head first. And they're like, hey, I don't want to just, take a little bit of this and be average. I want to actually be the best. I want to become the best. And so with Michael Jordan, the reason why he became the best at basketball is because he didn't just go through like, okay, hey, I'm going to show up for practice. I'm going to do these habits. I'm going to play in these games and leave it at that. It was deep rooted inside of him. It was an identity shift that he's like, okay, I'm going to be the best at this. No matter when I play, how I practice, whatever the case may be, I'm going to be the best. It was an identity shift, It's like, I used this example a long time ago where, let's say you have an apple tree, okay? And you can basically chop off the branches. You can actually chop down that entire tree and let's just say it grows back, right? Well, regardless, it's always going to be an apple tree. It is. Chop off the branches, chop down that tree. If it grows back, it's always going to be an apple tree. Why? The seed in order to create a new tree with producing new fruits, let's say a banana tree, you're going to need to get to the very, very roots. You're going to need to get to the bottom of it, right? The core. And that's the seed. That's the identity. And now you can replace it and put in there basically a banana tree seed, and outgrows a banana tree. Let that be the takeaway for today for you. Okay? Is one, understanding the power of your mind and how to get rid of, just these negative thoughts is think about it like weeds. At the end of the day, like just pull them out. Have some help with some friends also to help you clean out your garden. That's going to make you more abundant, and have you more, supportive. But at the end of the day, hey, it's up to you. You may not be able to control that first thought, but you can definitely control that second, the third, the fourth, the fifth thought that comes afterwards. So start reprogramming your subconscious mind. Start saying different things about yourself that you affirm to be true, that you want to become true. Don't listen to the self-limiting belief. It's just the weeds. Pull them out. And they're going to come back again. Pull them out and continue to do that. Eventually you get really, really good at it. You get that winner's mindset. And then remember, if you really want to change your identity, stop focusing so much, right? It's just like if a client's coming to us and they're trying to, let's say, lose body fat, right? It's like, yeah, sure. They can go ahead and go through that process of, let's just say, sticking with their macros, doing their, workouts and everything like that, following through with their check-ins. But they're just going to get average results compared to somebody else that, let's say, they're going to dive into the community groups because they know that that environment is going to change their identity. They know that you become like the sum of the 5 people that you hang around with the most. Les Brown said it best, birds of a feather flock together. Hang around in life with losers, you become a loser. Hang around in life with winners, you become a winner. So at the end of the day, like when you have that identity shift, that's when the habits become 10 times easier. That's when you start showing up because you enjoy showing up rather than showing up to achieve a goal. There's a difference between I get to versus I have to. Big difference. Big difference. And so focus on having that identity shift. Focus on having that mindset shift. And I always say it like this, new mindset, new thoughts, everything like that, right? You can completely rechange and just literally create your own reality, so to speak. It's going to be hard at times, but at the end of the day, you are in full control and ownership of how hard do you want it. Do you want it hard all by yourself? Or do you want it, let's just say, a little bit easier with having support, having friends, and getting better at it, and stop throwing in the white towel every time you feel like quitting and going back to your old ways? That's my 2 cents for today, guys. So really hope you guys got some value. If you did, definitely let me know. And as always, this has been Coach Joe with the Heartletics Podcast. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.